Welcome to My Counselor Online. I'm Cassie, and this is My Counselor Says. My Counselor Says is where you submit a question, either for yourself or for a friend, and one of our incredible therapists takes their time and answers your personal question. If you want to submit a question, you can do so using our webpage and then look for the answer in an upcoming edition of our weekly e-newsletter. So let's go find out what My Counselor says.
Welcome to My Counselor Online. Hi, my name is Kashina Harris, and this is Asking for a Friend. Today we will be answering James's question. James says, I am embarrassed about my height, and I feel like everyone is making fun of me. How can I get past these feelings? Well, James, I'm so glad you asked this question because it is one that so many of us can really relate to. All of us have these insecurities that as we go through life, we pick up. And these insecurities can happen, we can have these insecurities from times in our life when we felt like we've failed. Other times we feel these because of rejection that we've experienced. And then other times it's just simply because we just don't feel like we measured up. And so these insecurities really begin to act as a barrier. And that barrier denies us of a human desire that we all share, and that is to be accepted by others. Because when we are accepted by them, then we can connect with them. And that means we can start to develop relationships. And so I want to go back for a moment and just look at your question. At the end you said, how do I move past these feelings? These feelings that you talked about, the embarrassment and how do we move past feelings that we experience from this? And I think that instead of moving past those feelings, it really is helpful to gain knowledge there. In the first place that people typically gain that knowledge is just recognizing that it's not so much about what other people think about us, but really how we think of ourselves, how we view ourselves, and how accepting we are of who we are. And so that's hard to do because we have this internal voice that kind of sits back here and acts like a critic. And it reminds us of all the times in life when words have been spoken to us or about us, or just in situations where other people's actions really didn't help us to feel that we were accepted. And so I just want to give you 3 ways that can help you just start to move into accepting yourself. And just the first one is recognizing your thoughts. By recognizing our thoughts, it's really helpful because then we can start to see the patterns. And if they're negative patterns, then we can change those negative patterns to constructive, a more constructive way of thinking. And that is just, really focusing on our strengths. And if we don't know our strengths, ask a close friend or a family member to help you come up with some strengths. Write them down, put them on Post-it notes, place them in places where you feel like you're the most triggered. And so really our brain begins to believe our thoughts, and so let it begin to believe the good in yourself. The next one is check your worry. And I say check your worry because worry is something we all experience at lots of different times in our day. But check the worry here, because we need to start to peel back some of those layers to identify where the worry ignites, right? Where does the worry ignite when I'm thinking about what other people might be thinking about me or how they perceive me? Where does that ignite from? And then really then is when we begin to identify the reasons, the real reasons there. The last one I want to talk about is called radical acceptance. And radical acceptance is a term coined by Dr. Marsha Linehan, and it's just accepting our reality. And the reality is, James, is that nobody is perfect. Nobody is without flaws. And so when we begin to look at radical acceptance, we start to accept our own reality. And the reality is that we all have things that we absolutely can't change. And we have things that we just don't want to change. And when we can accept those, then we can start to move in the right direction. So James, I hope that this has been helpful and this is an encouragement to you. If you have any other questions, feel free to call any of the counselors at MyCounselor, and we would love to talk to you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for submitting that question. We love to answer your questions. If you have a question for yourself or a friend, you can submit it using our webpage and then look for the answer in an upcoming edition of our weekly e-newsletter.